Did you know a pound of muscle weighs the same as a pound of fat? Is the dumbest answer to the... Let's just get on with the video. What up, 928? No, just no. No, we're not going to do that. I saw it in another video to, switch it up and be funny. It's not going to work here. Maybe like a no, now I'm nervous. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. Oh my god, that's not my name. Hey, and welcome back to another episode with Panda Raph and Mr. Tango. Yeah, T-Baby here. Oh my goodness, I love these guys so much. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Today, we're talking about a question that it comes up sometimes, and it's not the question itself, but it's more so the typical answer that I hear with it that it bothers me. It drives me up a wall, and there was one time in particular that I haven't been able to let it go, and I want to talk about it today. So the question being, what weighs more, muscle or fat? So I've talked about some of the other instructors that I worked with when I was at the school, and I've had my criticisms. They're all good people, don't get me wrong, but they are also very human. And I remember one time in particular, there's a student who raised his hand. We were in sports class, and he had asked the instructor, what weighs more, muscle or fat? And the instructor gave this response of what weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of steel or something like that. And it's so funny because some people don't understand that it's a pound, right? It's a pound of feathers and a pound of steel, so of course it weighs the same. But that's not what he had asked. He didn't ask, did a pound of fat weigh the same as a pound of muscle? He asked which tissue weighed more. And it's always bothered me. And I'm going to round out the video as to why it bothered me so much. But it's not what he was asking, right? And it really doesn't take too much thinking to understand that it's a density thing that he was asking about, right? He was asking which tissue is denser, therefore will weigh more. It's almost like if I gave you a cup and that cup was full of sand from the beach. And then I gave you another cup and that cup was full of lead weights. One's going to weigh more than the other, right? Even when you think about something as simple as gases, right? You don't have to know too much about them either. There's some awesome videos online showing you lighter gases and heavier gases and the effects that they have on our voice. And we're already familiar with this, right? Like helium being a lighter gas makes our voice higher pitched. But if we had a heavier gas in our system, your voice would actually lower. It's really cool, right? But the point being, density. It's just a simple density thing. Now, before we get on to everything else, I have to I've always pondered about what the question really meant. I don't think there's any dumb questions out there, but I'm curious as to why the question comes up from time to time, because it doesn't necessarily provide any aid, right? You're not, I should put it this way, let's say you are getting ready for a weigh-in, you have to be a certain weight, then you should absolutely trim the fat while still trying to maintain, or even in some cases, gaining muscle, right? And if there's a situation where you need to drastically change weight, whether it's gaining weight or losing weight really quickly for something, and it's just the weight that you care about, then adipose tissue fat, that changes. That can change really quickly, right? Putting on muscle can take a long time. But even even when I really think about the question, it's almost but why would you, where's it coming from? And when I think about it, I think as a society, we have this infatuation with the scale, with weight, and it can be a very useful tool, absolutely. But I think there's sometimes unhealthy relationships that get built. So I think that's where that came from. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is muscle's good and fat can be good too. These can be good things, and your weight can be relatively high and still be a good thing. Okay, we don't need to stress about all this so much. If you are trying to fight in a weight class or compete in a certain weight class, like for weightlifting or something like that, and that's your aspiration or even your job, then yeah, that's something you need to take very, very seriously. And you probably wouldn't be in that shape though to be asking yourself like, well, should I be losing muscle or fat right now to make weight? No one's asking that. So like, the question was weird. The typical answer is weird. It's a frustrating situation all around. I'm not sure why it happened, but let me get to the actual answer and why it bothers me so much. So the actual answer is, generally speaking, muscle's going to be denser than fat. Yeah, that's all. I wish you could see this guy, by the way. He's just acting like a total goof. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Yeah, so muscle's generally going to be denser than fat. From the information that I read, I want to say that it's like fat has 80% of the density that muscle has, or something like that. Like, again, it's not really all that important. Like, it really isn't. But there's your answer, if you were wondering about it. That one's denser than the other one. Like this one, he's denser than I. No, I'm probably denser than he is. No, I wouldn't say that to you. You're so sweet. But why does it bother me so much? That situation right there. That situation was, to me, really representative of a lot of the education that went on at the school. There was a lot of sidestepping questions, right? There was a lot of, instead of saying, I don't know the answer to that, or I'll get back to you on that, there was, well, you don't need to know that, or making up some answer like that, or sidestepping. I felt like there could have been a lot more educating done in the school. So Stephanie Rodriguez, we had actually brought her up on another one of these episodes here, USO LMT podcast. You should go check her out sometime. Fantastic podcast. One of the episodes she was talking about, or at least the members were talking about, could they run a school with training for massage therapists at 400 hours? Now, to give you some gauge on that, here in Arizona, we have 810 hours that we go through training. In Canada, it's like 2,000 hours or something like that. So 400 hours seems relatively short, right? There's not, you were dealing with bare bones right there, but could you make a good massage therapist out of 400 hours? Now, somebody with some experience with instructing massage therapists, I think absolutely. I think 100% absolutely. I saw so much wasted time with 810 hours. It was absolute baloney. Now, here's the other thing, though. Like, the school that I taught at had this really big thing about wanting to train massage therapists so they could be ready for any environment, essentially, right? Now, I think they kind of, which is good intentions, don't get me wrong. I think they messed this up, though, when they changed their Master Bodyworker program, their advanced program. Now, their advanced program used to be, you would pick a certain track that you would want to focus on, right? Whether it was sports, or it was like Eastern medicine, or like structural body work. When I went to the Master Bodyworker program, did you hear me?
When I went to the Master Bodyworker program.
When I went to the program, it was basically a reflection of the professional program. So there was a lot of this, and that. You never really got too in-depth into one thing because you were constantly moving on to the next thing. Now, again, that's a good thing in a way, because now I can just see a technique and just do it, right? Like, I've had enough exposure and enough practice that it can be a very positive thing. You okay, buddy? Okay? He's okay. But at the same time, without that focus, I feel like, in a way, the school would have done better by just focusing on core aspects and just getting rid of the rest, and people can figure that out after they graduate. I'm not like talking in the professional program, because yes, there are advantages to being exposed to all sorts of things, but at the same time, I feel like you could have been exposed to 10 sessions of acupressure, 10 sessions of shiatsu after the schooling, right? Maybe at a different school, maybe in CE classes. I mean, that's 20 sessions right there. What does that come out to? 60 something hours worth of education that could have been spent with Russian sports massage or even Swedish massage, and maybe some kind of like injury protocol based thing. We've gone over what my preferences are, but to me, trying to cover everything might be overwhelming for some. And when we're talking about a 400 hour, a 400 hour program, I think if they just focused on the essentials, they could absolutely train somebody to be an effective massage therapist. But that takes sincerity and not wasting time, and it takes being genuine as an instructor and as a teacher. I don't want to give the wrong impression about the people who worked at the school, because they were all good people. They were all human, I should say. We're all human, and we all make mistakes, myself included. In fact, I'm going to make a video here pretty soon, because I've been so one-sided about these other individuals, making them sound out to be like bad people. But I definitely made mistakes that I should really own up to on video. So we'll get around to that, because I throw around a lot of shade, like I'm talking all this smack. Oh, this guy was saying this and she was saying that. I don't know. I think it makes for good drama, good television. That's going to be all for today, though. I appreciate you hearing me out. Thank you for sticking around. Oh, man, I love you so much. Tango here, he's just chilling. I'm sure you're just chilling as well. Thank you for hanging out. Information's up on the screen, books up on the screen. Hang out for part 2. That will be coming out eventually. I'm thinking about pulling a George R.R. Martin and just kind of keep talking about this new book, but not actually getting around to it. Hey, writing books is hard, okay? It takes time. And you got to sit there and think about it for a while, and about how you don't really want to do it, but you do. I know, my life's tough. I love you all so much. I will see y'all in the next video. Take care.